Hello. I woke up this morning with on my mind. So this past Sunday, there was a testimony in Sunday school, and they were talking about it was two very important things. I believe that are great topics. She's 34 now, but when she was 26, there was some pressure, and I'm paraphrasing, that the desire everybody was putting on her. You don't have a baby. You haven't had a baby yet. She's 26. She said they weren't interested, or the conversation wasn't, oh, you 26, you getting your master's degree. That's great. It was, are you getting a baby? Da, 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 da. She said they weren't, from what I can hear, they weren't even saying, are you getting ready to get married? As baby. Okay, she said, so now she's 34, and she said this blended family thing is something else. Oh, all of that was testimony. First part, well, I didn't really want to go into the first part, but I have heard that there's a lady, Miss Misha, she talks about when she was 26, her mother put on her before she was 26 and when she was 26. You need to get married. You need to get married. You need to get married. That was what her mother put on her. So she said when she turned 26, she was like, oh, I need to get married. Where's the husband? Where's the husband? And she said those weren't good things for her. And I don't know how old she is now. Miss Misha she has a YouTube channel. And she said, but she's gone through two marriages that I understand. So anyway, back to the person that was giving testimony in church. She said that was something for 26. But I remember having a conversation with a friend's daughter. And that's very true as she's saying. It's not so much that I was putting on her that, but I did ask her, like, when do you think you want to get married? That was my question. Because my question was like that, because I was wondering what was her goals in life, pretty much, or like, how many children do you want to have? It wasn't, when are you gonna, well, it wasn't, you have to do it now, da, da, da. I was just kind of wondering where does she see herself in the future as far as a family? But I think her response was, I don't know if I'm going to get married, and I don't know if I'm going to have a child. I can't exactly remember what's her response, but her response through my husband and I, to where we was like, you ain't never thought about that? That's not something you want to do or whatever? Because it's like sometimes when you're young, you're saying your dream as a child, or sometimes, you see yourself as a family and as a mother or whatever. But, that's unfortunate. Everybody don't want to, but everybody don't need to be a parent. I had to learn that in my adult life. I was like, you don't want a child? Because I love children. So I was like, you don't want a child? But look, if a person don't want a child, thank you. Don't have a child though. If you don't want one and you're pretty sure, don't have one. But if it's different, and I think, the thing is, a lot of women have a lot of pressure on them in different ways. But this is not what I wanted to talk about. What I did want to talk about was her second part, blended families. I was in bed this morning, 4 a.m., and it just hit me, and I tried to stay in the bed till 5, but there's a whole conversation on blended families. And I'm not sure if there is a lot of people having them, because there is no book on blended families. There is no guidelines. There are a lot of things that, that we are not covered with blended families, I believe. So I have twofold, because I grew up with a blended family. My father and my mother divorced when I was young. So my father remarried when I was young also. And okay, my memory as far as childhood is not the cream of crop. It's not everything. My brother's all right. You don't remember that? You don't remember? No, I don't remember that. I've already told y'all. But certain things I do remember. And I can tell you that I was a daddy's girl. And a lot of times, like my dad, and I had a lot of brothers. Like I was the only girl in the house. And so they go play basketball, and that's where my love of sports is, from my father. So they go play basketball. I want to go there to go do this. I want to go. And while my stepmother, or his wife, she would sometimes go, sometimes wouldn't go. And when she did go, she didn't play. It was like she was the cheerleader, And I was like, that's boring. Who wants to do that? That's how my view as a child was. And then if we would be home, you know, I had the area of the weekend and some certain times in the summer. And when we'd be home, my dad would say, go help her with, go help her cook or go help her in the kitchen and this and that and whatever. And I was like, I can remember feeling, why I have to go help? Where is everybody else at? Like I was in the middle of the children basically because there was older siblings and younger siblings, but I was the only girl, and so I'm like, why I gotta go help? That's boring. Why they would watch TV and play and Google and all that stuff, and I didn't, you know, I'm a daddy's girl, so I wanted to be around him anyway. So it's like, well, I gotta go in here for that. And then the other part, sometimes and that's just not who I was anyway. Sometimes my father would say, come in here and watch football with me. And when you have a husband, this is what you're gonna have to do. And that made me really irritated. And it was like, and I would tell him, I'm like, I'm not gonna watch no sports with my husband, you know, because it was like, that's what you have to do. So I didn't want to do that. But I'm kind of going from blended families to something else. So those are the things okay, so like this is what I'm gonna talk about too. So like when it came to my birthday or certain things growing up as a child, my father would call, and I think if she was around, she'd say, you know, happy birthday or whatever, Jamaica. But it would be mainly him. If it was a letter or anything in writing or a card, it would be in his handwriting, which shocked me because I always expected her to lead it for some reason, because the way their house was set up, I always felt that way. Well, on the other hand, with my mother, she was totally different from my stepmother, completely different. Like my stepmother was really easygoing and kind of da 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 da, and my mother was like, you know, she danced and music, but she was like, y'all get in here, y'all go do this, you do that, da, 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 da. She wore the pants pretty much, and my stepmom was like, ask your dad, you know, she was more like that. So I was more attracted to my mother's personality versus my stepmother's personality, number one, which kind of probably put some sort of maybe a strain on our relationship. Like we didn't have that, yeah. Because I wasn't girly. I was very tomboyish, you know, but I look like a girl and all that stuff now. Don't get it. But I was very like, let's go play with the guys. Let's go. What are they doing? They was having more fun than inside the house, cooking and cleaning and folding clothes and all of that stuff. That wasn't like attractive to me. Okay, so let's go into, I have blended families on all kind of sides. My ex-husband remarried. That's a blended family. Um, my husband has children. That's blended family. And then the boy's mother, my stepboy's mother, you know, she didn't marry or anything, but she has, you know, her personality traits. Well, I think a lot of times the strain happens is when you have someone outside of your house saying this and that about the family. And when I think about it, my mother would talk a lot about my stepmother, you know, because they had history too. But when I think about my boys, well, first off, let me say the root of the blend, my household. I don't believe, see, everybody's grown now except my children, but I don't believe the families were blended well. And the reason why I say that is whereas in my family, I wanted to do things like picnic, play sports. Like it was some parts of my father's house, but you know, all of us could enjoy, like go fishing, have a barbecue, have everybody to come, things of that nature. But my husband, in my opinion, wasn't so much wanted to do those things as much as I wanted to. Like I wanted to, let's go on a trail walk, let's do that, let's go horseback riding. And he was You know, occasionally he would be like, okay, but it was such a pull I felt on my side. And if I'm pulling him to get his boys, because I didn't get my boys at the time. I didn't have any little girls, and I'm just my 3 boys. Come on, let's go. They coming. But it was more of, and then his boys played a lot of sports also, so that was time consuming because we would always be going to the games and this and that. It seemed like it was year round. Because if they weren't in season, then it was on the traveling league and things like that. But so I think on our side, that was the bad part. Like, we adults weren't on the same team as far as, because when I tell him, come on, let's get the boys and go this and do this, first of all, the boys, they're teenage, they don't want to do it. That's already known. Then my husband, he really didn't care to do it. You know, so they know that, even if he doesn't know it. And then it's such a struggle for me that I get exhausted, that I don't know, but I'm exhausted, and I don't feel like keep trying to get everybody in as a unit. You know, and his thing was, why don't you just do stuff with them by yourself? But that wasn't the goal. My goal was to blend our children and their children, because, you know, one of the things he would say is, well, he would say his children are more bougie or whatever, and I'm not like that. I'm like, we go have a picnic in a park, have an old bologna sandwich and some drinks and whatever, and have a good time just talking and bonding. That's me. He's more like, you probably got to have a 5-course meal. Well, we're not going to spend all that money, because at the same time, I'm conservative too. And then the other part is, you want to make sure that it's appreciated, as far as I'm concerned. So I'm talking as a blended family from a parent. I initially was talking as a child, but our setup is different, because not only that, within our core family, the boys' mother is an outside opinion, and she could be like, which I don't know, but she could have been like, what y'all gonna do? Why y'all do that? That was like my mother was doing. You know, there was a negative connotation, and I'm not sure. And it's probably, my mother probably had a lot of, could have had some resentment there, or, you know, felt some sort of way, and she wasn't going to make it nice, and she would tell her feelings and express them. And every time you come from your daddy house, it's like I got to retrain you. You know, those things were said and stuff like that. So I'm saying the same thing could have been at my bonus children's house. In their personal house with their mother, could have put some things on them. And I know my oldest bonus son, he completely adored. He's like, I'm a protector of my mother and this and that and whatever. And I know one time his mother got into it over something really minute. I don't even want to go into it, but it was really nothing to me. It was water on the bed, like, for what and why? And I think that had an effect on him, because I'm pretty sure, I would like to think that she shared with him. I'm like, da 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 and da 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 da. And look, I would say this part, her fiance, at one point, they never did get married. You know, I saw him and I was talking to him. I was like, so you and her going to get married or whatever? And so, you know, he had the discussion with her, and she was like, and why is she asking if we going to get married? And I was telling my husband, I can say whatever I want to anybody. There's nothing wrong with that. But why she didn't say, when did he say we're going to get married? But anyway, that's probably not even, should mean being here. But so the blended families, they're so different. And I think, okay, I can remember as a child with my stepmother one day, but I was an adult, and I called my stepmother, which I don't normally call her, for her birthday. And I called her and I said, happy birthday. And I had my children to say happy birthday too. And she was so excited. She was so happy. And you know, and it felt good. Here's the thing. My father always called and did that and whatever. It wasn't necessarily her. Now, she might have been there on occasions, but it was mainly him. And so I know. And so here it is with us in our courthouse. I have my bonus babies' birthdays in my phone, and I remember. But my husband always saying, did you call so-and-so? It was their birthday. And I said, yeah, I got him. But here, when it comes my birthday, he's always reminded me to call them, which I got that. But are you reminding them to call me? Because I'm feeling some sort of way. Like, I don't like, because we all adults, and everybody's an adulting the way they can. Why am I the only one reaching out? Like, even with friends, I don't want to have a friend, I'm the only one reaching out to you and you never returning a call or calling and checking on me. I don't want to just be that person. Like, don't use and abuse me. So as a step parent, it's like, I'm calling you saying happy birthday. I'm calling you on occasion. At least call me on my birthday. I ain't asked for Christmas and this and that. And I would like Mother's Day too, but okay. Because maybe you didn't think I was that stepmother at the same time. Maybe you don't think I'm that stepmother that you cared for. Because I'm just straight up and down. I'm not one of those parents, period. Even with my children, I'm not finna go spend all this money on you because it's your birthday. I'm gonna get you a present or two, get you some cake and ice cream, and depending if we can have a party, we'll have a party. If we can't have a party, we're not gonna have a party. And we're gonna say happy birthday, and we're gonna sing this thing down, and that's gonna be that. I'm not. Whereas my husband seemed like he was spending like $450 on a child for the 50. I'm not. No. You got to know me to know that's a no. And how dare you? And why? And what for? Don't even spend that much money on me, because there are things we can do with that money. I'm sorry. Give me a vegetable garden or something. I mean, it's just something. It's something that I don't even want to spend that much money for. What? There is no reason, because that's half of somebody's rent. I just don't see it, baby. We can go volunteer. I remember one year, we as a blended family went and volunteered. We only did it one time, but I used to volunteer at the soup kitchen. And so I knew we went and volunteered with there, and my oldest stepbaby, he really had fun, and I think he really enjoyed it, but we never did it again. I was disappointed. But like I say, it's so much I can do as a step parent, that it's really the two core adults that have to come together, put this thing, I don't care if it's an op order or briefing, something, but we have to both be willing to put the work in. That's what's going to be the successful, blending of a family, to have your bonus children, your children, everything work out. Because I really feel like and felt, and I'm very disappointed that my children and my stepchildren didn't have that relationship that I would have liked for them to have had. I think there was plenty of opportunities. Although I'm going to say my boys always went over their dad's house, which was a regret. Hindsight, almost every weekend. I'm going to say almost, because give one weekend a month maybe, but when they were younger, every weekend they went with their dad, and we was just so happy and praising them that, your dad is getting you, your dad's in your life. But there should have been a lot of times that every other weekend is really good, because Monday through Thursday, your day-to-day work schedule is not the same as the weekend, so whereas on the weekend, I would more clean up on the weekend than a weekday, because we hustle and bustle and going to work, then, you cooking, homework time to go. But on the weekend, it's more flexible, and I think I could have done more things with my boys, and I do believe that their dad was more like, do whatever y'all want. But I'm more of a structured parent versus him. So whereas my step boys could also say, ooh, Janika don't play. I remember my baby step boy, he would say, ooh, she don't play. She be doing this and doing that. Whereas I think their mom is more laid back. So I'd have to get from their point of view how they feel and what they felt. Because this is just my point of view, is not really having that conversation, but it's how I feel. I've had some conversations, but I think really my oldest step bonus baby, because he was such a mother's boy, and we didn't really have that per se conversation, because when they would come over and get together, it was more with his dad, which I understand that, being me coming from a blended family, I was wanting to be more with my dad, because I can even remember telling my dad at one point, why can't you and I just do some things? And he was like, because I got other children. But I felt, and I didn't probably have the ability to really speak my heart. And plus, we grew up, you listen, don't you do that. But I had more freedom with my dad as far as saying what I wanted to say. Doesn't mean he was going to answer or something, but I remember being jealous about that. Like, I wanted to spend more time, and I didn't understand, why can't I have one-on-one time with you when they have you all the time? And I would just have you on certain weekends. And then here's the other thing with the blended family. While the children, I believe, are younger, they do better. They don't have so much of their parents, and they don't have so much of what they want to do or go visit friends. Because when you get into teenagers, that's a whole nother blended family. Because when I was 15, I was like, I'm getting my driver's license, I'm dating, I'm having me a little boyfriend, I'm doing this. I'm not trying to go over my dad's house. And I remember we had to go to court because, dad was like, she's not coming over. Because my mother was like, yeah, you don't have to go over there. And that's not really good. But, she was letting me do what I wanted. Maybe that was stinging my dad a little bit. I don't know. But anyway, he took it to court. And I was like, no, I want to go to driver's training, and he's not going to let me go over there, and this and that and whatever. So when I got back to the house after this court and this mandated I have to go, my stepmom and I got into it. It wasn't no fight, no verbal, no disrespect, but I remember we were going in the hallway, and we just caught each other in the hallway. And I guess this is the first time I was seeing her, or maybe it was the morning, I'm not sure. And she was right there, and she was like, oh, hi, Janika. And I guess I didn't say nothing. I don't even remember. I remember what happened afterwards. And I just went on in my room. She just walked by me, and she didn't even say nothing. Oh, baby, my daddy, now, he didn't play about his wife. My daddy got up in my butt. He didn't spank me. He wasn't a spanker with me. I wasn't a bad child first. But I don't know if he didn't really spank girls. I don't know, because he has this, girls need to do this, women need to do that, and, I forgot what his sister called it. I can't think of it. But baby, he let me know, you gonna respect my wife. You gonna respect my wife. Ooh. I was like, hi. Baby, I remember that. But I can't, like, my bonus boys and I, we haven't, to my understanding, fallen out or anything. But we never done things like I want. Like we went to Houston to the astronaut facility, and if I didn't see the pictures, I wouldn't remember it. You know what I'm saying? But because I have pictures that pop up and I see them, I said, oh yeah, we went here. That was like the only trip. I tried to do it again, and it was so hard. And the boys didn't really want to do it, and my husband didn't really want to do it. So my boys and I, we ended up taking yearly trips, just us. And then later I tried to incorporate the boys and my husband to do a trip, but that it is so hard, because at one point you're pulling teeth, and also it wasn't as important to my husband as I wanted it to be for our family. That's important right there. And we did not blend the family properly. We did not, on my side too, because where is it written how to be a stepmom? You can say, yeah, I love you as much as my child, That's just one element. But, you know, and I went to a lot of the games and all that stuff. And I can remember one time I was playing basketball. I was in a 35 and up league. And I thought my husband, he loved basketball. Like I'm always was going to travel to see my bonus boys basketball games, both of them. And I was playing basketball, and he went and got his boys, and I just knew they was gonna come and cheer me on. And I looked and I looked, and I have to tell you, I was so disappointed because they were not there. And his best friend was there, but he didn't come. And I was like, when I finished playing, I was like, where are you at? He said, well, the boys didn't want to come see you. I was like, when did the boys have such power? Because he's old school. He grew up old school now. So, no, you didn't care to come see me. And they definitely didn't care to come see me. So y'all didn't come see me. And that really hurt. It really hurt my feelings because I'm always coming to see you. See, you got to support me. And that's what I always tell him. Don't just support your boys and don't teach them and my children. I'm saying to everybody. Don't just support your children and not teach your children to support you. Like, why wouldn't you, if you're playing baseball, softball, why wouldn't you want your boys to come support me? Reciprocity. You have to, I believe you have to teach a child both ways. Don't let me just call you and say happy birthday. You call me son and say happy birthday to me too. Reciprocity. Those are simple things. They don't require any money. It's just pick up the phone, call. Y'all always on the phone texting and all this other stuff. But don't call me. You can text me, but it's a cherry on the top when you call. So I don't know. I went back a little bit, and I hope I got this blended family. It's so big. I'm just giving you a little bit, but the core has to be on the same sheet of music for it to go smoother than what you think it should go. I mean, all the other things is, baby mamas and side people and baby daddies and this and that. But with my boy's father's side, yes, he remarried, but we didn't have a strain at the time when they was in Killeen. There was no strain. I thought we had a good relationship. She had one child, and she didn't come over to our house. Our boys just went there. And as long as I felt like she was good for my boys, we was good. And I felt like she was good for my boys. She would even, when she got her associate's degree, I went over to their house and celebrated with them. Like, my ex-husband and I, there was never nothing, baby. Divorce was final. And, but I had heard that she wasn't sure because I was told that whenever I called, he made sure he answered my phone call. But we were normally talking about the boys. Now, I would ask about a business question decision because he's very smart. Other than that, I mean, he would just say, oh, my wife is so jealous of you. She's so jealous. But I don't know anything other than that because I knew I was doing what I needed to do. God-fearing and everything like that. That wasn't what it was. But she was hiding it if that was the case because she would call me and say, hey, I wanted to come over and read to the baby boy. And I was like, yeah, girl, come on over. And we would talk about stuff, and she had given me hair products at one time and all this stuff. So I have no idea. And then on my bonus boy's mom's side, I don't know what the conversations were there. Oh, but I can remember one time, and this is before this kind of falling out we had, I believe. Oh, or was it not? I'm not sure. But it was at a basketball tournament. And, oh, this is something. They said he and my oldest bonus baby got an award. And they said, can the parents and supporters or whatever come to the stage? Woo, baby, let me tell you something. I was on the bleachers and my husband was going and he was like, come on. And I'm okay, come on. And she went by herself, and we both went. And baby, she was on that court like, why is she here? And I'm not really drama full, so I'm just like she want me to leave this court. Ooh, ooh. And he just looked. And she was, and my step baby, he saw, and he know, and I'm sure she told, why did he have her out there? She didn't, I'm sure. And baby, she didn't hide her emotions that day. So whatever else was saying behind whatever it was, you just never know. Because that was a telltale sign. And I just was like, ooh. And I went on the court when they said to go, because it was like everybody that supported him and this and that. I just didn't understand why that was necessary, because we are married. But here's the thing, I will say this. I had heard that my husband and his baby mama had agreed not to marry or anything while the boys was growing up. And that was my oldest bonus baby's. He was like, I don't want my parents. And when we were dating, he let that be known. That's a red flag. But he said, I don't want my parents to marry until I'm out of the house. Like they could marry each other, but not other people. Until I'm out of the house. And he let that be known, because why would I know anything about it? But I remember him saying that. And he said, I don't want no other siblings. He made that clear. While his little brother, my youngest bonus baby, he was like, oh, I want sisters and brothers. I want some more. At that time. And see, they was probably, at that time when they said that statement, was probably like 10 and 12 or something. And that's that age where you start putting together, this is how it's going to go and this is what I'm going to do. And then again at 14, 15, 16, you're pretty much affirmed. So those are things that, that hurts with being smooth. But there were so many things that we could have done better that I wish we would have, and we just did not. And it's because it wasn't planned out, is one thing. And sometimes you just think, okay, we're going to come together, and long as you and I can work it out, then they just fall in line. And it's not like that at all. And what I was going to say, when they're young, it's easier because they are less mouthy and they can have more fun and do things and willing and okay with it. But then once they become that 14, 15, 16, then they want to hang out with their friends. I mean, they want to hang out younger, but they really want to hang out with their friends. Like, you're boring. We don't want to be with you. Matter of fact, take us here and drop us off there and do this and do that. Where it's just different. Because I can remember, let me say this and I'm going to get off of this. When I had put together horse riding. And I was like, y'all come on and let's go horseback riding. And everybody was going. And then my oldest step baby, he had brought like friends with him. And I just didn't know that was the case. But, he is always bringing somebody. But we only had so many horses to this and that. And so that was because we trying to bond as a family, but you done brought your friends, so you and him gonna be playing and doing stuff. So how are we bonding? That's the only thing. And what's the guidelines on that, to be honest with you? Because while I want you to have your friend and enjoy your friend, but at certain times we need to just do things together so that we bond. You understand what I'm saying? Like, I think there's a time and place to have your friend to come, but also, like, you didn't ask how many horses. You didn't say if you can have additional people, this and because something happened where the people that I wanted to go couldn't go because he had bought bonus friends. But not only that, that's good conversation for the core family to really bond. So I don't know, I felt some sort of way. So like what I'm saying, now if we were having, like I think at certain things, yeah, bring your bonus friends, but when we're really trying to get together, talk, and do certain things, like why are you bringing all these extra people? I don't know. Because I'm at a different perspective too, being that I'm a loner and I'm an introvert, that I'm not gonna bring people out. But so, so that's a whole nother direction. And it's not to say you can't, but when do you do stuff that you don't bring your friend? Because that's not going to take away from our intimate moment with family. Intimate moment with family. So anyway, we can go all kind of directions. That was on my mind this morning, but I got to get my day going. All right, 00J Love, tell me your thoughts on a blended family, please. There are so many little nuggets I threw out there, and I don't know if I really drove it home, but there is a whole bunch of horror stories too. Ours is not that bad, but it wasn't our relationship, and the relationship even more important with the children didn't blend as much, and we could have blended them so much better. When I look back at it, oh my God. All right, 00J Love, like, comment, and share.